Oh my god, that is loud. Holy shit. How to create... YouTube. No copyright. Lo-fi. Let's see here.
Royalty-free music.
Yeah, we fuck with this. We fuck with this. Hello to any of the boys who joined in. Can you hear me? Is this thing working? We minimize this. Hey, yo, Justin. All right, so apparently you can hear me. Like, if you can hear me, type Adonis in the chat or some other shit like from the cult. Perfect. Let's go. Yeah, so now we're just waiting for people to join in. And as always, for these lectures, we do a small Q&A section before everyone settles in. And we're going to wait roughly till 10 minutes past 8, so 9 more minutes of just Q&A stuff. So if you got any questions or anything that's been boggling your mind and you might think that I can answer it, yo, feel free to ask. Adonis, yeah. Adonis. Dun, dun, dun. So to the people who've already come here, like what have you guys been up to today? What kind of self-improvement type beat have you guys been filling your day with? Well, the solo leveling is for part of the lecture, something that I need to show you, but I've already finished reading Solo Leveling. I've read it countless times because it's the best piece of media I've ever experienced in my life. It's so fucking good, man. It's the best. So yeah, I love it. Yeah, sure, Edwin. It's gonna be recorded and it's gonna be live on. Yeah, the second that I press the end stream button, it's practically just gonna be up on YouTube, so you can always watch it later. Oh shit, let's go, Gonsars. What kind of content have you been creating? Dude, Solo Leveling is the ultimate self-improvement manhwa, piece of content, whatever. Like it is literally the rags to riches story from a guy that just works incredibly hard and just never gives up. I love it so much. Actually, talking about content creation, this week I'm doing less content and actually just focusing on like honing skills. So I actually went ahead and like made this in Photoshop. Like I tried to get a little bit better doing Photoshop, and the original picture, let me see if I can find it somewhere. Dude, can you like, I don't even know. Like the original picture was not this. Let's just keep it at that. This was not how it looked. But yeah, Photoshop is a beast, man. Jesus Christ. Art content. I actually have a video coming in about an hour. Oh shit, let's go, Gunsars. Been making self-improvement art content. Like, what kind of art content? Let me know. So, I haven't read something. Dude, no. Okay, look, Edwin, look, man. Don't ruin it for yourself. Start reading it. The thing is, I don't think that any studio, unless Mappa picks it up and the budget is just insane, I don't think they can do it justice. So just read it. It's for anyone who's here who hasn't read Solo Leveling, who's on the fence, please read it. I read it like 3 or 4 times already, if not more. Solo Leveling is the reason that I'm still here today. It's the reason that I'm still breathing. Like, I found it when I was really down fucking bad, and it just carried me through. Like, I've never cried as much as the day it finished. Like, real shit. When I realized that it was the last chapter and I just read like the note from the author, I was just like, I just laid there in bed like straight up crying for 5 minutes. Oh my god, man, it was so hard because when you're really depressed, it feels like you're fighting a war. You're fighting a war against that, like this invisible enemy. Let me show you what I've always compared it to. This Shadow Monster, Stranger Things. Like this. You know this creature from Stranger Things? Have you seen Stranger Things when Will is just standing there and like there's the shadow monster? That was what depression felt like to me. You were fighting this giant monster that no one could see apart from you. And the more you got into self-improvement, the more you started, like every single, like meditation, you recruit a general. You start working out properly, eating properly, sleeping properly. That's another general recruited to your cause where you're fighting this war. And when Solo Leveling ended, it felt like one of my commanders just died. It straight up felt like one of my greatest assets, one of my greatest allies in this fight just died. And I wasn't depressed anymore, but it was... I cannot thank Solo Leveling enough. Like no one, I try to explain it to people who don't read manga or manhwa for that sake, and they'll never get it. They just won't get it. It doesn't matter what I tell them. So, but yeah, the lecture is going to start in 3 minutes. I'm just, for anyone who was actually interested in coming, I was just letting everyone settle in, and then we're going to start with the lecture. Sit, or my hand still. Jonah, look, man, just read it. Just read it. It's so good. It's so disgusting. Like, it's about... a test, you're gonna fuck it up. They're gonna fuck it up. I don't want to be pessimistic, but they're gonna fuck it up. But back to your, like, Jonah, it's about this kid who's the weakest person in the world. He's proper down bad. And... some things happen. You can just skip the first 10 chapters. They're garbage anyway. The kid, he sacrifices his own life so that some people can escape this perilous situation. And then he comes back to life. And he's the only person in the world who can actually level up. He's still weak, but he can level up now. And then it just goes, it's basically a guy who gets on self-improvement and does all the shit. And he ends like a literal god. Sean, that is fucking sick. Please send it to me so that I can see it. I need to see this skill tree. No. Just read it online. You can read it on let me got a lot. I think this is the best place to read it. Solo leveling. It even has an SS rating, man. That's how legit this shit is. So, for anyone who hasn't read Solo Leveling, just read it there. Just fucking read it there. Have a good one, Evan. Enjoy your dinner. Yeah, I mean, Sean, it's not that the beginning was bad, but for a person who might not be that into manhwa, I don't know, man. I feel like the beginning might be a little too slow for them. So I just tell them, look, this is what happens in those 10 chapters. You can just go in and know he's going to get OP. Just read it. But with that being said, we're actually going to be starting the lecture. So for anyone... yeah, for anyone who's not here yet, that's too bad. So this is actually going to be the last lecture in a while, so I appreciate anyone who stopped by. I'm not wearing the robe. This is actually the last piece of clean clothing that I have left. So yeah, we dressed up fancy for this one. And this lecture is going to be about curating your own existence. If you've been in the Discord for a while, you probably know that I have this like very cool wall where I have a lot of pictures of anime. And you can even see like some stuff behind me where there's a lot of quotes. And that's what partially what this lecture is going to be about. So if you haven't been here the previous times, my attention span is shit. So if I read the chat while I'm hosting the lecture, it's just going to be a bad time for you. And it's going to be a bad time for me. And we don't want that. I want to give you as much information as I possibly can. So with that being said, I'm not going to read the chat. I'm going to have a Q&A section in the end where you can, like, whenever you see something here in the lecture and like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. Oh, I don't really know how to do that. Just write it down, scribble it down. I'm going to cover it all in the end. We're going to have a nice little Q&A section and it's going to be great. And we're probably going to talk more about solo leveling because that shit is bomb. But anyways, go away from the chat now because I just know how this is going to end out. Going to add the wall to the skill tree. Might use this lecture. Dude, just you're more than what, like this shit is so important in my opinion. Like I'm even going to cover the thing that Hamza mentioned with it used to be you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, but now it's just become you are the average of the 5 people whose content you consume, and we're also going to cover that. So yeah. Let's get started. So, curating your existence. And this lecture is going to be about a concept that I sniped from the anime Jujutsu Kaisen. And it's something that has worked extremely well for me and something that I'm going to keep working on and like expanding, like adding more picture, adding more things that motivate me to do the work that I actually want. And I wanted to make this lecture for all you guys because in the end, you becoming successful is just going to be, it's going to be a direct correlation between how much good work you can do consistently over a long period of time. So this is going to be my last lecture for you guys in a while. And I sincerely hope that you take some of this stuff to heart and execute on it. It's very cheap, it's very easy to do, and can yield incredible results. So that being said, let's head in. So domain expansion, a little brief explanation. So I've already said that it's a concept from Jujutsu Kaisen, but a better way to explain this, it's if you've ever played Yu-Gi-Oh! And you know a field spell that kind of boosts the attack of certain monsters. If you're a water type monster, it's going to boost your attack by this and this much. And the domain expansion is the exact same thing. So domain expansion is basically just a field spell where your attacks can't miss. So as opposed to your attack power just being raised, it's rather like your attack simply can't miss. And two people can use the same domain expansion, but we're not going to go into that object because it doesn't really matter. It's not like anyone can actually like do a Chimera Shadow Garden. It's not the case. But basically, a good domain expansion equals an instant win. Because if your attacks can't miss, then you obviously win. The opponent dies. Now, how can we use this knowledge and apply it to real life? So let's start with your physical environment. Now, this is a picture of my own wall, what it looks like, and I also have some to the behind me and stuff. And it's basically just a bunch of pictures that motivate me. And whenever I'm not feeling like working, it's easy to get a glance up and see, get this surge of motivation. And obviously, sometimes I'm still a lazy piece of shit, but if this works 7 or 8 out of 10 times, I consider it a huge win. So let's see here. Your success in anything will depend on your ability to do good work consistently over a span of 3 to 5 years. You could emulate Hamza's work ethic for a month and nothing would change. Nothing would change, because if you have followed me for a while, or you've seen me ramble in the Discord, you know the plateau of latent potential, the straight line where what people think progress looks like, and the slow line that then suddenly skyrockets up, which is what progress actually is. Before anything starts happening, whether you're going to the gym, whether you're starting a business, or whether you're doing something else entirely, it's gonna come in the long term. Most people overestimate how much they can do in a month and underestimate how much they can do in a year. Next, lacking motivation is normal, and discipline takes time to develop. The Iman Gatsi podcast that Hamza did, it had a hidden gem, in my opinion, which is Hamza and Iman were comparing where they were, and they're like, dude, Hamza, in once you reach your 8th year, you're going to be so much further ahead than I am right now in my 8th, because Hamza's only 3 years into in for real of doing this online business stuff and really trying to grow it, whereas Iman is 8 years in. He's been grinding hardcore for 8 years. So obviously, even though Iman is younger, he's gonna be more successful than Hamza. It makes perfect sense because he's committed more hours into it. So just realize it's perfectly normal that it's okay to lack motivation, especially if you're very new into this self-improvement shit. And discipline is not just something that you develop from one day to the next. There's going to be a lot of testing different principles. Maybe autistic level habit tracking works for you. Maybe it doesn't work for you. Maybe you need to realize which kind of meals allow you to stick to your diet plan and which kind of meals you have to stay away from. It's all different from person to person. And the next thing, the last thing, which leads me to the whole domain expansion thing, how can we create an environment that makes the necessary discipline / motivation requirement less? How can we make ourselves have to be less motivated and less disciplined while still being able to do consistent work? Now, this brings me to how you kind of make your own wall. And there's 6 steps here, and for this, we're actually gonna close this because I want to show you guys a step-by-step exactly how to do it. So the first thing that you do is you open a Word document, and if you don't have Word, if you're not one of those rich kids, you can literally just go to drive.google.com, and this is basically the Word package, for free. You have everything here. So you just open up a Google Docs document. I know you guys love these like autistic explanations, so that's why I'm giving them to you. Then go on Instagram, Google your favorite manga comic, and start adding pictures to the document. Now, if you're doing this from Google, it's fairly easy because you just go to Google and you save the picture on your computer or you screenshot it, whatever, and it just, you just add it. But let's say that you have something from Instagram, something that really motivates you, and you're like, okay, I can't really save this. Like, I can't save this. What you do, you go onto like your search bar on your PC, you search snipping tool, then this program right here is going to emerge. It looks like this. Just press new, boom, Control C, you copy it, and then you just insert it, boom. It just works. You got a picture of Andrew looking fucking jacked in front of his Ferrari, and if that doesn't motivate you, I don't know. Something's wrong with you. Next thing, let's say that you're really into manga or manhwa and you want a specific picture, but when you go on Google, you can't find it because you search like Jinwo standing there looking badass as fuck and like nothing pops up. But let's say that you want to add this picture into your wall. You do the exact same thing. You just press new, boom, capture the picture, boom. And if you got Photoshop, you can obviously like trim and cut it a little bit so it looks better, but you can always just cut it when you're like, after you print it. It's up to you. Same deal. Boom. Control C and put it into the document. You won. You're done. It's that simple. So we basically just went through all of this. Like those are steps 3 to 4, like 1 to 4. And next, if you have a printer at home, congratulations, you're actually done and you just print them and you don't have to pay for it. And then you just like, I've cut mine out with a scissor and like use tape to post them onto my walls. It's super fucking simple. And the results are amazing. Again, if you're at home, this is probably going to be free. You might just have to pay for paper, unless your parents are literal fucking Nazis and want you to pay for the ink that you're using, but I doubt that. And otherwise, if you don't own a printer, what I did is you send the document to yourself, or again, if it's on Google Drive, you don't even have to do it because this is saved across all, like it's on your account, so you don't even have to like send it to yourself. You just go to your local library and they're probably gonna have like a rate for how much it costs to print. So for me, it's like $50 per colored page. And again, I made it so that I had 2 pictures on each page, and it was fairly simple to yeah. That's just the way I did it, and then just cut it out and put it on my wall. So that is how you make your entire own wall very cheap. And again, if you compare it to like buying a poster, obviously it's a little bit more work, but a poster might be like $15 or $20, or if you buy a display, it might even, like that display there, it costs like $100. And for that price, you can basically plaster your entire wall, like your entire room, with just cool pictures that inspire you from anime. So I'd say it's a win-win. So next. So your physical environment. Let's just scroll through these pictures. Now, you shouldn't go broke trying to curate your reality, and an example is like buying a $100 Michael Jordan figure because it will inspire you like to have it in front of your table while you're working. You're like, you look into Michael's eyes and you're like, man, I'm super pumped. Don't do that. But you should find cheap ways, cheap depending on how much money you're making. Maybe you're fucking balling and you're making like 10 grand a month, and that Michael Jordan figure is probably more feasible. But if you're not really making a lot of money, don't go broke buying dumb shit that is only going to motivate you a little bit, but start curating your reality. So find cheap ways of adding items to your environment that will facilitate your work / motivate you to do more, like just do more work. And an example is there's this like fancy coffee brewer. Some people really like getting into making coffee, and it motivates them, and it's like getting closer to the life that they want to live, to own a coffee maker like this. And this is like $40. So it's not like super fucking expensive, and it's a way of curating your physical environment to what you potentially want it to be when you get, because look, the point of all of this, like the reason that you need to do all this work is probably because you want to get fucking rich. You want fuck you money. And you probably think that your life is going to be a certain way when you have fuck you money. Maybe you're going to live in a 2-story mansion. Maybe you're going to live in Dubai. Maybe you're going to live in Spain. I don't know. You're going to have a pool. And maybe you're going to make coffee a certain way. Now, obviously, you can't start with the mansion and like the pool in Spain, but you can start with the coffee maker and start adding small items that are going to start curating your existence to what you potentially want it to end up as. Another great example, you know those coffee machines where you like put the capsule in and you just pull the plug, whatever thing, and it starts making the coffee for you? That might be a thing too. For me, it was a soda stream. So I like drinking gassed water, and I bought a machine for that, and it's facilitated my work, it's facilitated my fasts. And that is just one example of doing it. There are hundreds of small things that you can add, posters on your walls, and like, I don't know, things that will facilitate work are probably like the easiest way. It might be a nightstand that you can place your lamp on so that when you're reading at night, it's easier to read because you want to become the type of person who reads more at night. Like, just be creative. Think about what type of life is it that I want to live, and which items inhabit that life. Not that you have to be materialistic, but really think about why do I want to get rich? Like, what type of life is it that I want to live? And then just start adding the easier alternatives to that. It might be a subscription to something. It might be a subscription to Envato Elements, because that's going to facilitate your work. You know, that kind of stuff. But although that's not physical, but just think about ways that you can improve your environment to make it more motivating. And the last point, which I had almost completely forgotten about, is remove clutter from your life. It's not all about just buying more stuff and adding more stuff. Sometimes you just need to throw out a bunch of garbage that just fills your life up with a bunch, like just fills up space and makes your apartment or your room a fucking mess, and you need to get rid of it. I do a cleaning, like a good clean every 2 months, where I just take shit that I know that I don't need and I just throw it out. Because I'm not the cleanest person or the most organized person, but I try to be, because I know it's important. It's important to have like a clean space around you so that you can do good work, so you can do good focused work. Your online environment. What are you surrounded by? This is going to be the most important one. Yeah, okay. So I believe that motivating and demotivating yourself are equally hard. And this is why your online surroundings matter. And this ties into the next point, where I'm then going to go on a little tangent about it. But you can tell a lot about a person's aspirations depending on how their social media feed looks. Okay, so motivating and demotivating yourself, it's pretty much the same thing. You can watch a bunch of like Instagram posts about Cardi B and about Kylie Jenner and Kim Kardashian and all these other rich people who don't really share how they became successful, and just think to yourself after like 10-15 minutes of scrolling, man, my life is fucking garbage. Like, this is what a shit existence I have. And then you're in a state of demotivation where you're like, what's even the point of this? And you just lay down and like go back to bed, or like boot up Steam and open up a video game, and like you're just sitting there wallowing, trying to escape your shitty reality, because that's what these things are. You don't feel good once you go on one of those like scrolling sprees and you're like, man, my life is, Kylie Jenner is 22 years old and she's like a fucking billionaire, and I'm 24 and I'm like making 1.5K, 2K a month. Like, what the fuck is up? Like, what is wrong with my life? You know, it's really easy to trip yourself up. But on the other hand, like, I follow someone like Kino Body. He lives a really cool life and sometimes shares the books he's reading and like the workouts that he's doing. And the same with Brandon Carter. If you guys don't follow Brandon Carter, King Keto on Instagram, you're missing out. Just go follow the guy. super motivational. He's always sharing like mental gems. He's trying his best to make people rich, real shit, like for free. Like the books that he's reading, his routine. I've even talked about him before, so just go follow him. Like he's sharing clues, like he's leaving behind clues for the people who haven't yet made it. And he's telling you how to do it. Like he's giving you a masterclass, but since it's free, it's very easy to ignore because like, then why wouldn't you price it? But it's really good. And let's draw the contrast. Like there's Kinobody. I also follow like, yeah, Hamza, Iman Ghatzi, like all these people who are sharing bits and pieces of how their life looks, how their success was built. And when you see other people doing wild shit, like when you see other people working out and getting after it and grinding and meditating and working on their business, and you're like, fuck man, I need to meditate, I need to grind, and I need to work on my business. So it's very easy to enter this loop of positive motivation if you follow the right people. But if you follow Kim Kardashian, if you follow Cardi B and Kylie Jenner, and I don't know, even Future and Drake, love Drake's music, but bro, it's just one big flex. If you just follow these people, it's so easy to get into the negative mindset of like, man, my life is fucking garbage, my life is trash. So follow the right people on Instagram. And the fact that I can open someone's Instagram and like tell you how successful they want to be. Because if they don't recognize this, if they don't realize that the things that they surround themselves by, and they just surround themselves with like celebrities and cats and drama and like funny TikToks, it's not that you can't have cats on your Instagram feed, but you should also have a bunch of content that's pushing you to do better in life. Does it make sense what I'm saying? So if a person only has entertainment and only has drama and all this shit, I can instantly tell, okay, this person doesn't have any aspirations. Like they just want to live life. They just want to live their life and like live inside the matrix, basically. Next, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. And this is still very, very, very true. But this is also converted. You are the average of the 5 people whose content you consume. Hamza said this the other day, and it's like, let me tell you a little story about how I got out of my depression. So Corona hit and I couldn't go to work, and I was like on the brink of suicide. I was playing World of Warcraft for like 8 to 12 hours a day. I was sleeping at like 4 a.m. and waking up at like 9, and I was back to playing World of Warcraft and back to grinding with my friends, and they're great people. It's not that. But this life was killing me, and it was depressing me, and I could see no way out other than just overdosing on a bunch of pills. So what happened was that I came to this great revelation on the 24th of January last year, and I started stepping a little bit back from World of Warcraft and started creating content on it instead. And since I was like playing less, I was talking less to my friends. I hadn't cut contact with them at that point. But what happened was that the people that I started hanging out with were Joe Rogan. I started hanging out with Rich Roll, with David Goggins, and with all these other like high performers. And that started changing my life, because all day, as opposed to hearing about people's depression and how shit their life was and how bad everything, just like, man, life is just bad and I'm depressed and my girlfriend this and like, I don't know about that. And I went from listening to that to listening to people telling about the life story, how they went from down bad to becoming successful. And I started emulating those steps. And what started happening was that my life started changing. Everything started changing, because not only was I surrounded by positive influences, I was being given the game plan on how to win. So it is crucial for your success that you surround yourself not only with people who are going to help you win, but with content that is going to help you win. Content that is going to, sometimes it's not even about like the information that you gain. Sometimes it's about the energy. The energy that there's another person in front of you who's like, I did this and I believe you can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. You know, sometimes you just need that energy. You don't even need the information. So your feed will literally define you, because it will lead to long-term conditioning. If you know how a lot of us believed in the Disney fantasies, like oh, if you're just sweet to a girl and she's going to accept you and you're going to get laid. The reason that you believed that was because of your conditioning, because it wasn't necessarily your feed, but it was your television. It was Disney. It was Netflix conditioning you to believe a certain reality that wasn't true. It's the same with everything else. All the stuff that you're reading online about, like, oh, depression, like we should take care of the people with depression. Like, depression is no more than you're living a depressing life. And there are some people whose brains are severely damaged who are really, really fucking struggling. And I feel so bad for those people. I wouldn't wish that upon my best friend. But the majority of people, they have just been conditioned to a point where their modus operandi, like their MO, is just being down bad because they relate to it. And that is because their feed has conditioned them for too long. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to feel bad. Nah, you don't need to lose weight. Nah, you don't need to like sleep well. You just need to like party and do what feels good. And that's the type of thinking that will destroy you, which is the reason that creating your online environment is so important. And not only your online environment, but like your physical environment too. I've already given you kind of like a way to set up your physical environment, and that is by buying items that don't make you go bankrupt, and by using the snipping tool and like going on Google Docs and printing all these images and putting them on your wall. Another one is habit trackers. Like, most people, when they begin self-improvement, do very basic habit tracking, but I've come to realize that sometimes you need to get very precise about the things that you want to track. Like, once the meditation is just like, yeah, you can have a habit tracker for meditation and all that stuff, but you also need a habit tracker for like, okay, what about the business? Like, what are the 5 or 3 key things that I need to do to get my business rolling? Like, for me, it would be something like, okay, I need to video edit an hour every day, or like 2 hours 3 times a week. And then I need to read emails 2 to 3 times a week and like improve my writing. And I need to upload 2 articles like 2 times a week. And you need to really get to the core of, okay, what is it that's going to drive my business forward that I'm going to have to do for like 3 to 5 years? And the practice is going to evolve, obviously, but really get to the point and make that part of your physical environment. Put the 5, like I've got 5 habit trackers right now. I've got my morning routine. I've got my daily like business tracker. I've got my weekly like cleaning tracker, and I've got like my weekly ad hoc, like charge this, do this, check this, do this. So you really need to create this environment where everything is like clockwork, where it's just spinning. The last thing on this like whole online environment thing before we actually go more into that is like the law of repulsion, which is the law of attraction's antisocial cousin. And the reason that I call him that, because the law of attraction is attracting all the things that you really want in your life, while the law of repulsion is repulsing all the things that you don't want in your life. And the way that you do that is by trying your best to be authentic. Because once you start talking about self-improvement to certain people and you start talking about your goals and you constantly do it and you don't let whatever they say deter you, you're going to start repulsing those people because you're not going to make them feel good about themselves. And most people don't want to talk about, the books that they're reading or like the exercise that they're doing or the business that they're building, because they start feeling small because they're not building a business. They're not exercising as much as they know they should be, and they're not reading as much as they know they should be, and they might start feeling stupid to the point where like, oh man, I'm not really feeling good about myself. Like, I'd rather talk to my friend Joe, who's like talks about video games with me and like how we slayed that dragon last night, because I'm not going to talk about those things and I'm not going to make them feel good. So I'm repulsing the people and the things that I don't want in my life, and hence attracting the things that I really do want. Because at some point, once people around you are like, oh damn, this guy's actually about it, they're going to start coming into your life. Now, if you want to start this like online transformation, like the way I did it, the easiest way, and something that I did, was go through the people that I followed on Instagram, because that was my main platform that I used. And I just unfollowed everybody who wasn't pushing me forward. Anybody who, like all the bodybuilding stuff, which was just because I didn't really care about bodybuilding anymore, who were just like posting topless pictures and like dropping pseudo motivational stuff. I'm like, no, I don't need this. And I only kept the people that truly inspired me, the people who were truly dropping gems. And that's kind of the first step. And then the people that you really, really like, I can even show you, or at least try to show you. So let's say here on Instagram. So you're here on Instagram, you really like Cobra Tate, like you really like Andrew. There's this little button, like this little arrow down, which is going to give you like it's a bunch of suggested accounts, like accounts that usually probably interact with Andrew. And you can do the same for pretty much every other account. So any account that you really like yeah, let's even do it for Hamza, because I know obviously we all come from the same Discord. Okay, Hamza apparently doesn't do it, but anyways, whatever. The point is, it is fairly easy once you know what you're looking for to find people who motivate you. Like, let me see, Brandon Carter. I'm pretty sure he does it. If you don't follow this account, please follow it. It's for your own best. But here you can see like, okay, who are all the people who like accounts related to him? And you can just like start going through. And usually all the accounts that you follow, they usually tag someone. They usually, like you can see here, he's together with like Gregor Gallagher, like Kino Body. And you're like, oh, like these are his friends. These are the guys that this guy finds motivating. Maybe I should follow these guys. And that is just like the simplest way of creating your online experience. Again, Hamza, he was together with Iman Gatsi the other day. Like if you caught up on that, you're like, oh, they spent time together. Maybe I should follow this Iman guy. And that's how you just slowly build up your online library of like motivation. But anyways, that is actually going to be the lecture. There was a lot that was covered really, really fucking fast. And yeah, there is going to be the Q&A section. Whew. Man, that was... I didn't even drink water for that shit. But yeah, as always, the PowerPoint is going to be, I'm going to link it in the Discord for anyone who wants to look at it. But since the lecture was a very, very fast one, a very quick one, I'm going to do like a 20-minute just Q&A / shit talking session where you can just like ask whatever questions. Let me start reading some of the bro, let's just start with the questions. So Avery, first of all, I'm not Asian. I'm actually Latin. I'm Cuban. And yeah, I remember you from the comment the other day, like the pretty boy one. Yeah, dude. I mean, the look's fire. I get it, and it like it pulls chicks. So. See. For assault rifle last lecture. Yeah, free FD. So there are going to be more lectures in the future, but I don't want to plug my own shit too much. Like I had 4 really good lectures in mind, so I just said, you know what, fuck it. I can grow my YouTube and like I can give you guys like free knowledge. It's a win-win without me just like shamelessly plugging myself. So yeah, this is going to be the last lecture in a little while until like I go for another growth spur. I feel something great coming that I am going to make a lecture on in the future. I call it, I can actually, like, we can even talk about it a little bit here, but I'll make lectures in a couple months after we're on the Discord, which will deep understanding about more of the topic. Yeah, dude, Greg, definitely go for it. So many people have not gone through the pain of self-improvement and try to actually just tell people what to do, which is a huge problem because you haven't you haven't experienced the down bad periods yet. Because self-improvement, there's like the honeymoon phase where like, man, this feels great, and like everything's growing so fast, and like my 10th meditation, I feel so good. But then after 100th meditation, like you don't really feel anything. Your newbie gains are gonna stop coming at some point. And that's when you really need to, like, that's when when your character grows, because that's when you realize whether you're about it or whether you were just like, oh man, I guess the quick gains were fun. So, dude, dude, for real, man. Like, I don't miss it. Like, it felt good at that point, but I'm just like, you're wasting so much time for nothing, for like a virtual character that can't do anything. And yeah, Venomous TV is absolutely correct. It is King Keto. Please just do yourself a favor and follow him. He's so good. He's so good, man. Hey, Bart, back at it again, man. Dude, Bart is the fucking MVP. He made timestamps for the last one. What a G. But yeah, social media is as toxic or motivating as the people you follow on it. Absolutely. Like, social media can be your greatest tool or your biggest downfall. It's not that you can't have a little bit of entertainment on it. Like, each to their own, but you can definitely make it a force for good. So dude, that's a tough one, because I would just say the people at the gym, like, you can just open conversation, if like for your job, even like you can just like get better at conversing with your colleagues, with the people at the gym, like start compliment. It's such a, man, I'm gonna feel like an idiot for saying this, because in the Adonis sections, some of you guys feel like, or you think that the Adonis section is going to change your life, and you're like, oh, I'm going to get the fucking S tier advice that I've been looking for. This is going to be the game changer. But really, a lot of the stuff, and like whenever you come with a problem, like, oh bro, you should really meditate and journal a little bit on it, and like deep journal. And it's the same. Like it's the same with like socializing with people, because they're gonna say, oh, just compliment their bracelet, or like compliment their haircut, and like start a conversation like that. It is basic advice, but yeah, like that is, you just gotta step out of that comfort zone, IPAC, and just try and talk to people. Or you can start posting wild shit on your Instagram so that the law of repulsion kicks in, and the people who really don't fuck with you, they kind of slowly seep away. But the people who maybe are on the same path as you are gonna gravitate towards you. So, do you think manga and manhwas are also instant gratification as well as movies? Well, yeah, in theory, yeah, they are. You are still reading, which is better than watching a movie just like mindlessly. But I believe that there is such an important thing to be gained from manhwa and manga, which is, for me, it motivates me to do more. I know that I'm never going to be able to develop domain expansion or actually like level up through like a sheet and stuff, and like allocate my stat points. But me reading Solo Leveling, me reading God of High School, it allows me to do better. It gives me the motivation and the discipline to do more, because okay, if Jinwo can do it, I can do it. If Baki can do it, I can do it. So it is a little bit of instant gratifications, but there are way worse ways of instant gratifications. And it's the boy Hassan. Dude, Hassan, if it was up to me, man, you would be fucking Adonis. You're one of the biggest grinders I've seen in this Discord. I respect you so much, man. What about how good? Most people help me a little bit with social skills, but I don't feel. Yeah, the thing with the gym is either you're serious about it and you go there to work out. Otherwise, you're one of the guys that just talks. and then you have like a 3-hour workout, and you can do that. Like you can't just say, okay, I'm good. You can say to yourself, I'm gonna get cold, and that's just what's gonna happen. But I'm gonna have a conversation with this person for as long as they want to, and I'm gonna try and get a connection, and then maybe something happens from that, and you become gym partners, and you start going out to eat after the gym after like some time, and that's how the relationship could go on. But me personally, I like being alone. I have some friends, but you know, it's not like I'm actively looking for new friends right now. So Damon, do you play video games occasionally? Have you divorced them entirely? I was a fucking spurg for the last 2 weeks ago. I was an ultra spurg, and like really just like practically didn't do any self-improvement, like just ate a bunch of shit and played Elden Ring. And before that, I hadn't played video games for like 2 months, like 3 months almost. And last week I was somewhat a little bit degenerate, albeit a little bit like way less, and still working out and still eating well. But man, I've just come to realize that I can't play video games, not right now. If you can balance video games, that's great. I am happy for you, but I can't. I'm trying to become fuck you money rich. I'm trying to get big. I'm trying to really blow up. And for that, there are so many skills that I need to cultivate and so much focus involved that I can't play video games. I can't just stick to 2 hours every 2-3 days. I can't do that. For me, it's like either I'm not playing or I'm playing. You know, that's the problem with me. So I've just chosen to abstain completely and not play. Yes. Sir, all videos make it. Yeah, you can either make a new insert, just like unfollowing 400 people. That's gonna take you maybe like 30 minutes. So, yeah. Exercs. Look, I'm actually making a video on this right now, and that is, you know, you're not your favorite you're not insert your favorite self-improvement YouTuber. Like, you guys gotta realize you're not Hamza. I'm not Hamza. I may have fucked around with a robe, but that's just comfy as fuck. But I'm not Hamza. I'm not Andrew Tate. Just because Hamza says you can't play video games, it doesn't mean, like, if you really love it and you can control it, and your goal is just, you know, isn't necessarily to become an ultra billionaire, you can play an hour, 2 hours. Fuck it. You can, and again, something like reading anime, like reading manga, and watching anime, if it's something that heavily motivates you, and it's something that you need in your year 1 or your year 2 to really get yourself going, don't cut it out. Because a lot of people, they tend to believe that they have to do everything like their favorite self-improvement YouTuber, because that's just the way it is. But no, you can be your own guy, and I take a lot of advice from Hamza and from Andrew and from like First Man, but I've noticed that it's very toxic to just, I'm going to do everything like this guy. I'm going to follow all his advice, because everyone believes that the way that they're doing things is the proper way of doing things. And when you're super down bad and you just realize how shit your life is, you become like a sponge, because, okay, whatever I'm doing, it's not fucking working. I need to do something else entirely. So you absorb everything. But at some point you can't absorb too much, because you stop being yourself. And I believe in becoming someone different. I believe that you should ask yourself, who do I want to be? And then try to become that person. But to an extent, because at one point it's not becoming the person you want to be, it's becoming the person whom you're emulating. So, yeah. Yeah, definitely, Bart. Like, cutting out video games turns life into the video game. That's something that I've realized, because I went to BJJ today for the first time ever, and I started like working on Photoshop stuff and like learning skills, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm not leveling up in Elden Ring, and I'm not like getting the sword of Night and Flame, but I'm leveling up my jiu-jitsu skills. I'm playing this like mini video game, and everything becomes a mini video game. Oh, I'm adding this new skill into my Photoshop repertoire. And that's just how life itself becomes the video game. So up here. No, Kush, literally, like, even the video that Hamza put out the other day on the Unfiltered channel, like, I don't even know what channel it was on, but like, it was, Hamza has something big against video games. And I get it, because the hate that he has for video games in general is what I have for World of Warcraft. Because when something comes so close to destroying you completely, you garner a certain hate for it. Like, me, I don't dislike World of Warcraft. I hate it with a fucking passion. Like, I hate it because it almost destroyed me. It was this close to make me pull the plug. And for that, I hate it. And when I see my friends still caught in it, I'm saddened. And I realize I can't hang around with these people because I'm going to get dragged right back in. And I can't give power to something that is going to destroy me, you know? Found I actually never liked video games that much. I just did it for the social aspect of doing it. It's different for everyone, Ollie. Like, for me, it was the idea of getting better in an environment. I like getting better. I like being trash at things and improving steadily and seeing myself improve. And in video games, you can do that infinitely with very little risk. So if you're going to get good at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which I just started today, was my first class, and I almost got my arm broken. Like, there was a point, like this arm right here, I could feel it almost tearing at the fucking ligaments. And you can't, like, you don't have to experience that when playing video games. And I'm a strong guy. You can see that I fucking lift, okay? And this guy, he was like skinnier than me and he was a little bit out of shape, but he fucking destroyed me. So if I hadn't been this built, I would have been even further destroyed. I would have been fucking killed. And for the people who aren't jacked, who are starting from that point, when getting better, it has such high risk. Again, like getting your arm broken, your nose smashed in, whatever, versus just sitting at home, right-clicking at the right time to last hit a minion, or like controlling your spray pattern to improve your shooting, and you can get a certain sense of like, oh, I'm actually improving, I'm getting better. Because it feels good to improve, it feels good to get better. It does that for everyone, so. Sharing your wisdom, I've always had this. Okay, look. XC, dude, I don't even know. I'm just gonna call you XW. Your discipline and your strictness depends on how far you want to go in life and how fast you want to go. Because monk mode is very real and you can be super fucking strict. Obviously, there are things that you have to find, like, okay, does this work for me? But there are also certain things where you have to be very strict and just say, okay, I'm not drinking, I'm sticking to my diet, I have to do this. I'm currently watching like Iman Ghazi's video on this one right here, how to take control back of your life and monk mode. And I'm probably going to implement a lot of this stuff. And even Iman talks about like balance is a lie. Like, you've been told a lie. In the beginning, in your first year of self-improvement, even your second year, I can see it. I can see you needing balance because you're still figuring out what is it. It's like telling a baby to run before it can walk. You've never tried meditation before. You've never tried properly dieting, working out like more than once every month. And now you want to tell someone like, okay, you have to work out 7 times a week and you have to meditate every day. You have to eat according to a diet. You can't do that, but you're probably going to get fucked up. Like, you need to learn which protocols work for you that allow you to do that kind of thing, because there's a difference between doing like super heavy lifting 7 times a week versus doing like a 30-minute or 45-minute workout 7 times a week, like just doing very light full body. There's a big difference between that. There's a difference between meditating 15 minutes every day and starting with 3 minutes every day if you've never done it. Same with the diet, like finding the diet that works for you. So balance is good in the beginning when you have no fucking clue what you're doing, but there comes a point where you should know what is the optimal way of doing things and just fucking hammering that shit. And then you just like, because you know the optimal way of doing it where you don't fatigue yourself as much. You don't, fuck man, my brain. Like you don't fatigue yourself as much, but you're still like getting steady progress. And then you just do that and you say fuck balance for like 3 months and you change your life. That's a way of doing things. But almost like all the other. Yeah, iPack. For me, it was the same. I was actually just forcing myself to play video games for like footage. So, man, I really feel you on that one, iPack. Jesus Christ. XV, I am that guy, so it's definitely possible. I am the jacked guy who watches anime and watches Baki and reads manga and all that shit. So it's possible. And it's the boy Noah, the dead meme. Guys, you may not know it, but Noah, he's going to be in the NBA. A couple years he's going to be in the NBA. So I have a future NBA star in my stream right now watching it. It's crazy to me. Someone you don't have to follow everything perfectly if you want to. Yeah, definitely, Bart. Like, look, if I want to kill it, there's a way to do it. But I can't compare my year 1 to Hamza's year 3, or my year 1 to Iman's year 8. You know? The first year, even the second year, I can see it as you building your routine. I'm actually gonna talk to you a little bit about what the next lecture that I make when I eventually like figure this out. And it's something that I call the Four-Legged Stool. Now, the first year of self-improvement, let's say there were times where I was still watching porn and jacking off, but my habit tracking was immaculate. I was doing autistic level habit tracking. Then I stopped watching porn and I stopped jerking off, but my habit tracking kind of falls off. So I'm getting the benefits of not watching porn, but my habit tracking is kind of like, whatever. Then I still don't watch porn, but I quit video games. My habit tracking is still off, or my diet is not very good, you know, that kind of stuff. And the thing that happens is that whenever one of those things isn't good, that is one leg on the stool that is weak. And what happens when one leg of the stool is weak, eventually your discipline is going to slip, and one by one, the legs on the stool are going to break. And once they break, you have those periods where like you start binge eating, or you start like watching porn 3 times a day because you're like, I need to get it out of my system. And then you have like 2 days of degeneracy. And then you put the legs of the stool back together. But if one leg is still missing, it's just a matter of time before you go into the same thing. All the legs break off and you're back to like, oh man, I just need to get this out of my system. So now, over the last year and a couple months, I've run a certain series of protocols. I've done autistic habit tracking. I've done like, you know, calorie counting. I've done all the proper shit. And I've just gone back and super analyzed, like forensically analyzed all the stuff that I've done. Said, at this point in my life, this thing worked really well. At this point of my life, this thing worked really well. And at these other points of my life, these things worked meticulously. These are things that I know work. These are things that are easy for me to do. And then you take those 4 legs of the stool and you have 4 strong legs, as opposed to having 3 strong legs and just having it be a matter of time before everything breaks off. Colleen, the thing is, you want the stool fixed. Because otherwise, if you don't want to be like super ultra successful, super fast, like, you know, in a matter of 2, 3 years, 4 years, then you're gonna want to have a perfect stool at least for like 6 months at a time, or like for a long, consistent periods of time so that you can actually get work done. For example, completely cutting out video. All films are just. Yeah, no, XV, that doesn't. Yeah. You shouldn't be grinding 24/7, 365 unless, you know, unless your family's life depends on it. Otherwise, it can be very hard to find that intrinsic motivation. Again, we're not all Andrew. I wish I had the same drive and motivation as Andrew to be rich. I fucking do, but I don't. Dude, XV, that's fucking great, man, with the 200 calories and sticking to your diets. Good on you, brother. That's fucking amazing. Oh yeah, Colleen, yeah, definitely. I see what you mean then. About no photos. IPAG, you don't. There are certain people who you aren't going to convince. There are certain people that simply want to stay in their hole because it's comfortable. It's very, like, watching porn is very comfortable because you don't have to. It's the same with playing video games to a certain extent. Like, it was what World of Warcraft was for me. It was me numbing my pain. Porn is a great way to numb your pain. Oh, okay, Wexer. Okay, got it. Yeah, most people, Colleen, most people don't realize that the leg is defect, that it's broken, and that it's a liability. And it is very scary to, like, replace a leg, because you never know if you're going to find something to replace it with, but I know that I am doing the right thing right now. I know that I am on the strongest version of Pablo operating, like the Pablo OS that I've ever been, because I have all the strongest stools, that, like, all the strongest legs on the stool that I've ever had, and I've combined them to form an ultra strong stool that is going to keep me upright without relapsing. So, yeah. Yeah, it's just the best way to do it. If you want to convince someone, just become so massively successful that they start asking you, bro, how did you do it? That's the only way, in my opinion. Yeah, it really does, Bart. Like, that was just Wexer, like X-Wexer X before, man. Goddamn. Yeah, this is actually we're gonna start wrapping up the lecture. It's been an hour now. Jesus Christ, this hour's gone by fast. And yeah, this is actually going to be the last one in a while. I truly hope that you've enjoyed this latest month of lectures, and I really hope that I've been able to help you. Self-improvement is a very long, painful, fun journey. And it's been like that for me, at least. I really love it. And I'm glad that I have the potential to take the pain that I had to suffer and, you know, potentially help other people avoid that pain. In the end, I truly believe this is like a video game. I believe that once you really commit to this self-improvement shit, like, great things do happen, and it becomes sort of like a game of just, like, improving yourself, which is why I refer to solo leveling so much, because it's the same thing, really. But if you guys, you know, still want to, like, watch my shit, I actually have a website where I kind of post blog posts. I'm pretty sure this is it. I just registered the domain not long ago. So in here, you can find a lot of, like, my written stuff if you're interested in that, because there aren't going to be any more lectures, at least for the next month, maybe 2 months. And I'm going to come back with a new variety of fucking bangers for you guys. But yeah, I'm always in the Discord. My DMs, for the most part, are open, I think. Otherwise, I might open them up. I'll see. But yeah, I just wish you guys the best of luck. And the fact that you're here means that you're actually ready to change your life. The fact that you're sitting here on like at 9 p.m. on like a Tuesday evening signifies to me that, you know, you are ready to actually change. And I really appreciate all of you who showed up. So the lecture is going to be live the second that I press end streaming. And I'm probably going to make some really nice thumbnails for it, just so it's a bit more fun to click on. But yeah, with that being said, I will see you guys in the server. Have a great one, guys.